Wolves are already aware of just the stylistic disadvantage they're at having two bigs against a team with three guys and four shooters, really, with Grayson out there. That's a tough cover for Cat. And the fact that they have to put somebody on Kevin Durant makes it even harder because then you have three guards. Who is Cat going to guard?
Hank McCoy.
The Wolves are the best defense in the NBA. They are a 56-win team, and they've got a guy who's probably going to make the All-NBA second or third team, Anthony Edwards, that they've had to change their entire defensive strategy to contain. And I did write about that over at GoPHNX.com, the way that they've just packed the paint with their tight shell and forced him to get off the ball, sent double teams at him, all this fun stuff. But they know that the Wolves are going to be better than what they've seen in the regular season. They're going to have home court advantage, and they're going to be at home in a game one in a playoff series for the first time since, I think, 2004. So that place is going to be rocking. And in listening to a couple of Wolves podcasts, like, they're worried about the matchup, but they also recognize, like, if we get this biggest test out of the way, we have a chance to really do something. We've seen this group grow, and they've been great all season, but now it's like put up or shut up time. So they're going to come out with their best punch in game one, and I'm really excited to see how the Suns either respond or how they put it on them early.
Well, see, that's the question, because you know you're going to get the Wolves are going to throw everything at you because of the way the Suns have played them in the regular season, with the Suns coming out every single time with the first punch.
Yeah.
Right. And we've seen that it's really difficult for the Timberwolves to be able to climb that uphill battle to overtake the Suns when they get down so big so early. So that's going to be an area of emphasis for them. And I think with the added playoff hype, the added crowd hype, we're going to probably, it's not going to be a cakewalk. Is all I'm saying.
I'm not saying that we're going to dog walk them or anything like that, but what I will say is it's hard for me to look at that team. First of all, I mean, props to them for winning 56 games. That's cool. Their defense is fantastic. But, like, I look at them, and Ant and Cat are the only two guys offensively that scare me. Like, those are the only two guys that could drop 30 or 40 on your head if you don't come right. But these guys have been attacking the Timberwolves defensively, offensively, both ends of the court in 3 games, and I just don't see how that's going to stop miraculously. Now, again, I'm at the point. This is how we felt after 2 games against the Dallas Mavericks 2 years ago, and then all of a sudden the script absolutely got flipped. So you can never underestimate anybody. But I look at this team and I'm just like, who else do they have that's going to step up? I'm listening to the radio, same thing, heard a podcast, and a large portion of their hopes are on Mike Conley stepping up and scoring more. And I'm like, man, if you're relying on a 36, 37-year-old Mike Conley to lift you guys up, I mean, you're already struggling. So I just don't see a scenario where the Suns are going to falter. Now, if the Timberwolves play out of their mind and beat the Suns, okay, so be it. But I think the Suns are playing good enough to get past this series.
I think it's twofold for me. It comes down to Cat. How does he play offensively? Can he find his rhythm coming off of this injury that he's coming off of, and be a guy that can carry a large portion of that offense? And then how do they adjust defensively? It's not a fluke that they were the number 1 defense in basketball. In the 3 games against the Suns, they struggled. In that, well, 2 of the 3. 2 of the 3. 2 of the 3 they struggled. One, they held them sub 100 points, but the Suns held Minnesota to like 87, and it was low. So, like, can Chris Finch and that coaching staff devise a defensive system or defensive adjustments that work against the Suns team? Because they are a very, very good defensive team, and that if they have something cooking up special for the Suns, they can slow down that offense. That changes everything.
I will say this, too, about their 2 star players outside of Ant. You're looking at Rudy Gobert and Cat. I think both of them have deficiencies on one end of the court or the other. I think defensively, you've seen in the playoffs teams go 5 out and just attack Rudy Gobert because he's not the greatest perimeter defender. So he's had struggles in the playoffs with that. Second, Cat, if you watch the last game against the Suns, now he's got a week to kind of get back into it, I know. But if you watch the last game against the Suns, they did a pretty good job of attacking Cat because laterally his movement still isn't where it needs to be coming off that meniscus surgery. So I do wonder if they're going to try and do this again, where they just attack somebody relentlessly until they prove they can stop it. And I mean, the Suns can do that. They have 3 guys that can do that. They got more than 3 guys that can do that. So I'm pretty confident in the Suns in this round.
That's the thing that stands out to me the most, and it's what I'm actually going to be writing about for Diehards Only this week in terms of how they attack Cat and Rudy Gobert specifically, because Cat is the pigeon for sure on this team. The Wolves are already aware of just the stylistic disadvantage they're at having 2 bigs against a team with 3 guys and 4 shooters, really, with Grayson out there. That's a tough cover for Cat, and the fact that they have to put somebody on Kevin Durant makes it even harder because then you have 3 guards. Who is Cat going to guard? That's the tough thing. And offensively, because he's been out for basically a month with that injury, does he have enough in the bag offensively to make up for that defense? Because if he's not scoring 20 to 25 points a game, then you really can't have him out there for that long because they're going to go at him. Rudy Gobert, like you said, with him in the drop and all 3 of Beal, Booker, and KD capable of coming off those screens and hitting a jumper, a midi, and the fact that Nurk set such good screens gives them a lot more room to work with. So they're at a lot of disadvantages, and it's been interesting to listen to the Wolves' perspective from a couple people and them talk about, well, I think the defense is the biggest concern because we haven't been able to stop these guys. Well, I think the offense is the biggest concern because the Suns held us to our worst possible shooting performance of the season, and they've held Ant to 43 points on 42 shots through 3 games. Like, there are a lot of things at work, and I think if you're the Wolves, you've been able to win a certain way all season. Are you able to change it up for this specific matchup? That's a lot to ask of a lot of the supporting guys.
Typically, that doesn't happen.
No.
Yeah, it's tough.
No, not a wholesale change like that.
No.
Adjustments here or there, but not a wholesale change.
And they got a lot of guys that are, Naz Reid is a good player, but he's also struggled defensively against the Suns as well. Like, the Suns are a horrible matchup for the Timberwolves. And you like to think that the Timberwolves would try to capitalize on their size to some degree, but they just can't. They just haven't been able to. Rudy's as good as they can do, but that's a lot of lobs and putbacks for Rudy. So it's not like they have designed, set plays to go to Rudy consistently because he's just not that type of offensive player. So there's just a lot of things that are working against the Timberwolves.